Hey guys, welcome to another Double Tap on YouTube. I am Stephen Scott.
And I'm Shaun Preece. Hello.
Shaun, I have in my hand, in my grubby little handsy, beautiful box. Hear that? Oh, listen to that. I'm going to shake it. Oh, I'm going to break it probably, actually.
Oh, wow, that's the worst ASMR I've ever heard. That was terrible.
So this is the Amazon Echo Spot. It is the latest Amazon Echo to arrive. It's a bit odd. They've dropped this just ahead of Prime Day. And it's a really strange device to bring out. I was kind of wondering if they were going to bring out something new, which had lots of new AI features in it, and new hardware. And there's no details to what's actually in this, except for the fact that it now has a clock, because the Echo Spot, if you remember, way back had a clock in it.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing, right? It was a full screen clock, I remember. This one, it's half the screen is a clock, the other half is a speaker, but it's still circular, still small, will sit on your nightstand. And the big difference with this one compared to the previous generation is it doesn't have a camera in it, which I think put a lot of people off putting this into their bedroom or perhaps into their kitchen. So especially with kids in the house, right? You don't necessarily want to put that in the kids' bedroom, but perhaps the kids do want a clock next to their bed, and the Amazon Echo speaker there as well. Now you can have this without the concern of a camera being in it. So that's good. And it's interesting. The price is $64.99 Canadian. But there's a bit of a deal at the moment on if you're buying it around Prime Day. But, the price changes all the time with Amazon Echo products. It's an interesting one, right? Why do you think they've brought this out at this point? Because surely there's going to be some new hardware to update the dots and bring in what is going to be the new world of Amazon Echo, the Lady A, shall we say.
I am so confused by this, but Amazon confuse me all the time with their release schedule. I have no idea what's going on. I mean, it doesn't seem that long ago that they introduced the Pop, which is like the entry-level one just above the Echo Flex. I'm not entirely sure where this sits. Is the original Spot still available?
No, it's gone. It's gone. It's been gone for a while, actually.
That's what I thought. And I totally understand why, because the Spot, which was a small, half a spherical, almost bedside, I look at it as a bedside alarm clock.
Take an Amazon Echo, right, and slice it down the middle like an orange at an angle. That was the Echo Spot. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I think it was overpriced for what it was when you compare it to a normal Dot or even an Echo. I think it was quite overpriced, so I understand why maybe people didn't buy into that. I don't think it was just the camera, because there's some instances where I would want a camera on there. I'm talking about baby monitors, for example. It could be fantastic for things like that. But I do understand that the general public are squeamish about privacy and things like that, understandably so, you might argue.
You still have the Echo Show 5, you've got the Echo Show 8, and I think the 10 is still around. Yeah. So there are other devices you could choose if you did want the camera, I suppose. But for those people who are concerned about it, now you've got a choice. It's an interesting one. And let's bring on someone who knows about their Echoes when it comes to it, because he has his own podcast all about it called Dot to Dot. It's Robin Christopherson from AbilityNet and indeed host of the Dot to Dot podcast back with us. Hey, Robin.
Hello. Shaun often pops up on the Dot to Dot podcast as well.
He does. He's a bit of a moonlighter, isn't he? He's absolutely a bit of a moonlighter.
Robin, shush. That's secret.
It's been good working with you, Shaun. Have a great life. So, listen, I want to get your take on this new device, this one singular new device. Clearly, they're trying to get something out the door on Prime Day. Maybe the Dot sales have drifted off a little bit, and they're thinking, let's bring in something new. I just think that the release of this is interesting, because I'm expecting there to be an Amazon event. In fact, there is an Amazon event coming up soon, where we're going to learn a lot more. We learned last year about what is coming with Lady A. In fact, we had some interesting stuff about what is coming down the line. This year, I imagine we will see that come to fruition. So you would think they would have held back any hardware announcements till then. What's your take on all this?
Yeah, I mean, this one's not kind of a flagship one, so they've obviously just slipped it in maybe to get the Black Friday kind of boost. I don't know. I mean, it looks nice. Like you said, the top half of the screen of the circle is a screen, and the picture shows big white numbers for the time and a little weather summary, like a cloud or something at the top as well. So maybe quite high vis, that would be good. And the bottom half is the speaker, and I'm glad to hear that you think it's got good sound, or you've heard it has. So yeah, I mean, I was on a while ago about AD, and this kind of harks back to that, because you've got Echoes that are just speakers, and then you've got ones with screens. And I'm a voice first guy. So as soon as you bring a screen in, or visuals, then it kind of degrades the experience. So is this one going to be a voice first product, or is it going to say, if you ask it about something, it just puts it up on the screen and says, this is what I found. And it puts it visually on the screen, a bit like, books versus TV that we were talking about before.
Well, I think there's truth to some of that. I think the difference with this particular device is it has limited capability in the screen, which is good, actually. Because the Echo Show 5 and the Echo Show 8, as we've tried before, and we've talked about this, the problem is if you ask it something like, for example, what's the weather for the next few days, it will just tell you, here you go, essentially, and it will display it on the screen. And there's no audio to go with that. Of course, if you ask the Dot with no screen, she will give you a full, detailed response. And, I've often thought it would be quite cool for Amazon if they could add in an accessibility feature, which is almost like, treat this like a Dot. Yes, absolutely, put the visuals on screen, but make sure you give me that full response as well. That I don't think is going to be the case with this. Now, once we unbox it and have a play and have a few days with it, especially with the sound, because I am hearing great things about it. I'm also, picking it up compared to the Pop, which was so light. I picked this up in the box and it is quite a heavy little device. So I get the impression there's a decent amount of speakerage, that's a technical term, in there.
Well done.
And, hopefully, with that weight, we'll get some good bass response as well. I'm not expecting to boogie on down too much with it, but, for a bedroom or for a spare room, I think this could be quite useful.
Yeah, I mean,
this is so strange. Trying to justify why you've bought this thing, Stephen Scott. It's almost like you're having an argument inside your own head.
That's my entire life, Shaun. That is all I ever do. I don't need to argue with anybody. I can do this all by myself. I could shout at myself. I could come up with all the different arguments all by myself. That's how my brain works.
There's two different aspects to this, right? There's the mainstream audience, and then there's us as blind or visually impaired people. I mean, I always say now, it used to be a case, I used to say the Echo Shows, the Echoes with a screen, or actually, let's say any smart speaker with a screen. They have a screen reader built in, voice view, and they are accessible. But I always say, no, don't buy them. If you're visually impaired, don't buy them. Why would you? Because it is a worse experience. And I say exactly the same for this new Spot. Why would you get this over just a Dot? In our community, at least, I see absolutely no purpose for this.
Well, I'll give you the answer as to why, because not all blind people live alone. You may have someone in the house who can see, and they may want that clock. My wife, for example, wants the clock. Now, she's got the Echo Dot with the clock, the one where it's kind of like the clock is behind the fabric.
The material.
Yeah. So it doesn't do much more than that. I mean, it's probably doing similar to what this does. This is more of an LED screen with, a bright display and, show the numbers larger and all that kind of thing. Probably more visually friendly for low vision people. But that's the point, right? This is for people who want to have the visuals, but, for us, we want to make sure we get the full response. This could actually be quite good for those people. So I think you've been a little bit short-sighted. A little bit short-sighted about this one, Shaun Preece.
Are you saying this is uniting the various communities together as one?
I'm bringing us together.
I'm against
keeping
it.
us apart.
I mean, it might not even be a touch screen. We don't know.
I don't think it is. No, I don't think it's got any touch.
In which case, it's a voice-first one. So I approve.
Yeah, me too.
That's true. Yeah.
So the bigger question is, last year, we got a sense of what is coming down the line. And I always think back to one particular moment in the presentation last year where we heard the old Amazon Lady A voice versus what is coming down the line with the new Lady A. Let's have a listen to that again.
I love The Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh. It depicts the view from his asylum room at Saint Remy de Provence just before sunrise.
But here's the preview of what's going to come early next year.
I love The Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh. It depicts the view from his asylum room at Saint Remy de Provence just before sunrise.
Now, that is the voice of, as you were just telling me during that there, Robin, that's the Let's Chat feature, which is available, I think, in beta at the moment. Is that right?
In the US, certainly. Yep.
Clearly, that's where it's going. This is where it's all going to head. And I think this is where we want it to go. there's going to be a two-tier system. I know, Sean, he doesn't agree with me on
No,
this.
there
He thinks
isn't.
it's all
No,
going to
there
be
can't
just
be.
replaced. No, it's
No, you're
look,
wrong.
You know what? There's going to be a two-tier
You're
system,
wrong.
and here's why. Here's why. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because they
Sorry.
want to charge for it.
Yeah.
They're going to have
And?
to charge for an improved version of Lady A. And to do that, they'll keep the original Lady A in there so you can get your time and your reminders and all the echo skills we've used. All that will continue for a while. But gradually, you'll see this move over to this new Let's Chat type voice. But in the meantime, there will be a charge, and that will allow them to charge for this, because charging for services is the way these companies need to make money in order for them
Wrong.
to survive. Do you remember
Wrong.
the conversations last year about people being sacked at Amazon because
Wrong.
they just didn't have the money to maintain this, and people were concerned about the future of Lady A? Of course it's going to move to a subscription model.
Wrong. Robin?
Yes, it will.
Thank you.
I think so. I mean, there's been too many rumours, not like we think it will, but that it will.
Yeah.
Potentially. But I mean, they are, it's speculation to us.
Wrong.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, it's wrong.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank you.
in the article that Amazon itself put out about this new kind of LLM, the new generative AI version of the A-Lady or Lady A, they were, saying about how there are over 500 million Echo devices out there now, tens of millions of commands given every single hour, and that, it's the most loved smart speaker. I would argue that it is. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that it needs an overhaul, and this is what they're going to do. And, they gave a demo, and I actually wasn't too impressed by the voice. I think there are much, much better ones out there. But so, yeah, we'll see how she actually kind of sounds when it's released in earnest. Although that wasn't bad. It's just not as a wow as it could have been. And this sort of...
It wasn't wow today.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem, isn't
Although
it?
a lot of other
that's
ones
a
are.
year ago. That was a year ago, and
cares?
that
That's
was
true.
pretty impressive then.
That's true.
No. Who cares about the voice? It could be running eloquence for all I care and be rasping away at me.
Dare you?
No,
just
you can
talk
have an
absolute
intelligent
garbage.
conversation.
No,
It can't be with a robot.
How well it understands me and its responses. It's all about the large language model. That's all the AI is to me. I don't care about the voice.
That's a really good point, actually, because the A-Lady is increasingly poor at
1 point
hearing
to
me
Sean.
at all. So let's hope they sort that
Yeah,
out.
that's very true. I know this might seem a bit conspiracy theory, but I find with mine, if I turn the volume down, it doesn't hear me. If I turn the volume up, it hears me better. So I don't know if it's the speaker that's going down and the microphone level at the same time, but I don't know what it is. If I turn up the volume, she hears me fine. I don't get it.
It's funny because mine started responding in a whisper, and I've spoken in a normal voice. So I'm thinking her mics are getting poorer and poorer so that she can hardly hear me at all. And when she
Need a
does, she
clean.
thinks, yeah.
Yes, right.
Give it a dust.
A bit of dust in there, yeah, very possibly. And look, there is a question though about hardware, right? Because, okay, look, if we don't agree on the subscription thing, Sean, there surely is going to be some kind of new hardware to enable these features to work. I mean, it clearly works at the moment on existing devices because it's being demoed, it's being put out there in beta. So it does work there. But again, it's all about growth and expansion. The more we push on these devices to do more and more of them come along, the harder it is. So I guess there needs to be more of a inbuilt power. So better processor on board, for example, to do a lot of this work locally rather than having to constantly be reaching out to the cloud, which, it's like everything else. It's like meta frames. It's like all these features we hear about that are sort of locked to countries or are in beta in certain countries. I guess the fear is if you open it up too quickly, you'll swamp the system and it just won't work.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's so many question marks around all of this. And quickly going back to the subscription model, I think there is a chance that you will have to pay for AI in the future, but I don't think there will be a two-tier system. I don't think they could ever have, this is the old style and here's the new special one. I don't think people will go for that. I think they'll just chuck it in as part of the Prime package or whatever it may be. But I think that may be the division line as to whether it's done on device or offloaded to the cloud, because you're going to get far better responses, far quicker responses on device. But I'm not sure how they can do that. If we look at the Apple intelligence right now, only available on the iPhone 15 Pro range, not even the standard iPhone 15. So how much is an Echo smart speaker going to be with the power to run onboard AI? I mean, I don't even know if that could even be done.
It's interesting because a lot of the devices, including the Pixel phone and the Windows 11 that has the built-in copilots, those SLMs on device, the small language models, are really quite poor in creating content, in being up to date, in particularly image content. They produce really basic images, and then you compare that with, going off to the cloud, and it's like Picasso. It's amazing. And with the advent of ChatGPT 4.0 and the latency coming way down, maybe I think it's Titan, the LLM that they've built for the next Gen A lady. I don't know what the latency is like, but if they can get that down to like 4.0 is, then maybe that's fine. And it's just a dumb device, like the really entry-level ones, like that lovely Spot.
Which actually does help, right? Because then people don't have to then go out and buy new devices. That's going to be a hard ask, especially with like people like ourselves who have multiple of these devices at home. And many people do now.
Billions.
Some people have one in their home, but a lot of people who will have, larger homes that have larger numbers of them around the place. And, the idea of going out to replace all those, for geeks like us, it's like Christmas has come at once. Of course I'm happy to buy 15 new Amazon Echoes. Fine. But that's me.
Our partners aren't.
No, exactly. My wife is not happy with that.
Is that another one?
Yeah. What do you
I'm
need
really
this
interested
for?
to see what the announcement's going to be from Amazon about new hardware. Maybe it will have SLMs on board, and they'll show how quick and responsive and privacy first they are. In the announcement about the new A-Lady kind of overhaul, they were definitely focusing on privacy because obviously that is a concern. So, I'm really excited. But will it only ever be like one mode versus the other? They're certainly talking about integrations, a bit like Apple Intelligence. It will just be one S-Lady, and you won't have to kind of be in different modes, and it will try and be as hooked into all the, shortcuts and actions that Siri can do, hopefully better even. So that's the kind of challenge, is to take an AI, an LLM that's good in chatting, and actually give it real-world agency to interact with your smart home devices, set reminders and stuff and things like that are kind of a table stakes. But, will it be able to integrate in that mode using an LLM as the kind of interface that we have with the A-Lady at the moment?
I feel as a company that's about to chuck a bomb into the middle of the room with all this, and that's OpenAI. I think that if they come up with a device, and there's rumors that they will come up with something, either to be a wearable or something that's in the home, and that has ChatGPT 4.0, and then obviously 5 will come along at some point. That could change everything, because that could entirely wipe out what Lady A does for people. Because again, it depends what you're trying to get it to do. I mean, obviously, if you're asking it the time and you're asking it to play music, any of them can do that. So, it may be a case of the voice is a part of it, the commands, the speed, all of that hardware capability might come into a product like that. Now, one thing that Amazon has on its competitors across the board right now is the ability to sell these at low cost. They can just churn these things out. They can, come up with a Prime Day and just knock that. I mean, this Amazon Echo Spot, I got it for like 20 or 30 quid less than its price, and it wasn't even out. It was on like pre-order, and here I am buying it at a discount. No one else can do that. So I think that they've got, because of the size and the scale, and they can do this, right? They've got the ability to just drop it.
Why a loss leader is always a loss leader for a reason, because they're trying to upsell you to something else. It was originally, I thought at least, that the smart speaker was there as an aid to get you to shop more, shopping easily without having to go online or open an app. You simply say, hey, I need toilet roll, and it will send you some. It didn't really pan out that way, it seems. The shopping, it didn't really take off. No. So maybe they are geniuses and they were looking for the long haul here, and they've gone for, you know what, we're going to charge for AI down the line when we've got a billion devices in people's
Proving
homes.
Robin and I 100% correct. Thank you.
Yes.
So, that's all that being said.
Wrong.
He's just gone right back on it. He's like, yeah, I've decided against it. No, look, I think that there's often that conspiracy theory side of it, which is what's the purpose of these devices being in our homes? What are they doing there? Why do we have to have so many of them in our homes? These active microphones sitting listening to us day in, day out. There's always that question mark, right? But I think that, the key point I'm making is that, Amazon can deliver these products at low cost. Whereas if OpenAI come up with a product, it's going to be in the hundreds. Whatever Apple comes up with next will be in the hundreds, the same. So, I think that they can get Amazon can get a much stronger foothold in the market. Whereas I think you may find that down the line, there's going to be a lot of attention on whatever OpenAI comes out with. I mean, Johnny Ive is involved, of course, the famous product designer for Apple. It'll be really interesting to see what comes out of that. But I have one final question for you, Robin, because this is something we touched on last year when we had this conversation on Double Tap about, where it's all going. There did seem to be a push towards vision first when it came to Lady A. I'm not saying that was what they said, but it seemed to be that the products they were promoting with this new Let's Chat feature and, camera capability to see and, to communicate was all visual. And it was using a device like, I think it was the Echo Show 8, the upgraded Echo Show 8 that came out. That was the device at the time. So does that worry you that they're moving that down that road? Do you think that they would go completely down that road and just not go down the Echo Dot route anymore?
Well, I'm encouraged that they are still releasing products that aren't really screen first, like the Spot there. And I don't
Does
think
have a screen though.
Well, true. I don't think they'll abandon that audience. But yeah, if you want to, I mean, they're kind of going with the conversation interruption thing by, you're kind of looking at the device. As you get closer to the device, the proximity sensors can, brighten the screen. And if it sees that you're looking at it, then it, is already into conversation mode without you even having to use the wake word. So that kind of thing will be able to be, taken advantage of with these new devices. And I'm sure that every screen device from now on will have, well, apart from that Spot, will have those kind of smarts in there so that, it kind of improves that. It's like a smart thing in your kitchen or wherever it is that you can have a natural conversation with, and it can tell, if you're talking to it or someone else. But I'm pretty sure that we won't be left behind. We'll just have to, invoke it with the normal wake word and, maybe have to put up with the fact that sometimes gets the wrong end of the stick and I'm actually talking to someone else, that sort of thing. I mean, you can just say exit at the moment to go out of conversation mode. So clunky things like that rather than just kind of turning away.
We shall see. Well, it's very interesting for sure. I think we just need this Amazon event, don't we? It feels like we've been kind of left at sea this last year with Amazon. All the other companies are moving along. Finally, I mean, even Apple are talking AI, Apple Intelligence. I still think that's a marketing genius moment right there. That's just don't call it artificial intelligence, call it Apple Intelligence. Genius.
Amazon
move.
Intelligence is next.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, well, maybe they were thinking that and they thought, well, we can't do that now. Just look like... Cool little copying. Robin, as always, great to talk to you. And of course, people can still access your Dot to Dot podcast, right?
Yep, on any smart speaker or podcast app, Dot to Dot. We're up to episode 2,700 and something. So yeah, check it out.
That's amazing. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts. And like Robin says, also on the smart speaker as well. That's it for today. Robin, thank you for coming along. Come back soon.
Thanks, guys.
Shaun, it's a really interesting conversation. We shall see how this develops. As always, I'm keen on people's views on this, so comment below on the video, or you can email us and listen to your comments read out on our daily Double Tap show, which is also coming to YouTube in full from September. More details on that soon here on YouTube. But for now, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're catching us on the best of YouTube on the podcast as well. Feedback at doubletaponair.com. That is our email address. 1-877-803-4567 is our number. You can call and leave us a voicemail. Remember those? I remember voicemails. I used to get a thing on my phone, used to see new voicemail, and I would ignore it at my peril. But I never ignore a Double Tap voicemail. So get in touch. 1-877-803-4567. And of course, we're online at doubletaponair.com. We are available everywhere. That summarizes it pretty well. There you go. It was all going so well. That's it for today. Thank you, Shaun. Thank you, Robin. We'll be back again with another Double Tap on YouTube soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.